Hello, my name's Sapna Pieroux and I'm here today to talk about how vital design is to effective communication. First, a little bit about me. I'm a brand consultant and designer. I'm a speaker, a brand mentor for a national programme called Shifts to Success, a business mentor for the University of West London, and I'm a #1 best-selling author of Let's Get Visible, the book that promises to give you brand clarity, stand out in your industry, and supercharge your business growth. The book came out in January 2020 and won an award, March 2020, at the Business Book Awards. The first thing that I'm going to talk to you today about is why design is so vital and the #1 problem that I've seen entrepreneurs make time and time again in building their business. Have a look at my Do, Say, See model. So the first thing that entrepreneurs will think about when they're putting their business together is obviously what they're going to do. That's what the product is or the services that they're going to sell, how they're going to deliver it, the equipment they'll need, the staff, and perhaps even the environment that they need to deliver it in. So it's the nuts and bolts. Without the do, you haven't got anything to sell. So you haven't got a business. The next thing that they will focus on is the say. Now, the say is the written and spoken word. It's communication. Again, if you don't communicate your business, then you haven't got a business because nobody will know about it. So your say incorporates the copy on your website or brochures. It's your blogs. It's your social media posts on LinkedIn or wherever. It's when you stand up on stage or in front of a camera or in front of just one-to-one and have that conversation. Your say is your pitch, and it's written or spoken. The third thing that I see entrepreneurs kind of leave to last or forget to think about or try and do on the cheap or try and do in a hurry or themselves is the C. Now, the C is not just your logo. It's what people see about your business, but that is not just your logo, and your brand is not just your logo. So the C is your branding, it's your colours and typefaces, it's the videos you put out there, it's how you show up in real life and on camera, and it's also the business environment which you conduct your business in. The C is all about first impressions, and first impressions matter. They really do. Think about if you've ever been on a website and you go on there and it takes too long to load. The images don't come up and it's whirring away. What do? You click away. So that person has lost a sale. I myself rejected somebody's advances on LinkedIn because when I clicked through to their website, there was a typo asking me to book an appointment. They'd missed out an N. And I just clicked away. Again, they've no idea why they lost the sale. But it's the first impression. It's what you see. So although you focus on your do first and then you'll say, and then you'll see, the customer comes at it from the see point of view. And it's what they see first. Only if they like what they see will they bother to read what you say. And only once they read what you say will they find out what you do. When those three things align though, that's when you make your ideal and your strong brand. Take any one of those things away and it's like a three-legged stool, it topples. So those are the red danger zones. If you have a wonderful product or service and a great pitch, but the website lets you down or your brochure lets you down, your business card or your salesperson, then you have what I call an invisible business. Because you only have a few seconds to make that great first impression. And if you're not catching people's eye and catching their eye for the right reasons, then they will turn to your better looking competitors and you are rendered as good as invisible. If you have a wonderful product or service and a flashy website that looks amazing and great branding, but then the copy is confusing or you can't find the information that you're looking for, then that's what I call an incoherent business. And an incoherent business will also lose you customers because people don't understand what you're selling. The worst kind of business, in my opinion, is when your C and say are aligned. So you're selling the dream, it's a great pitch and you've got a fantastic looking website or brochure. You've got all the patter, but then you fail to deliver. Your product or service doesn't live up to the promise. And that's when you have an insincere business. Now, this is when you get negative reviews. So people may well buy from you, but the PR that you get around the negative reviews is going to kill your business. So as you can see, the do, say and see are vital to align all together. So let's look at how this all works and how this comes together. In my book, I have created the vision process. VISION. It's a 6-part process which helps you build that strong, authentic brand. The first 3 parts are all about brand strategy, which is where we look at your company vision, your company goals, your customer's vision, your brand values, and your brand personality and voice, and then also how to stand out in your industry. So as this presentation is all about the visual, we're going to look at standout as the first part of this presentation and to show you how that works. Ricky's a tiler. He was relaunching his business, R&B tiling, and wanted a new look. In the standout part of my process, we take a look at the competition to see what they're doing, because you have to look better than the competition in order to stand out. This is what we saw when I typed in tiling companies. As you can see, a lot of tiles. That could be an industry norm or a cliche, as I call them sometimes. So, if you're going to stand out, maybe don't use a tile. Or, as you can see here, the design isn't great. The design elements aren't great. So another way to stand out is actually have a beautiful design. Another way you might stand out is actually tell people what's the transformation that you're going to bring to their business, because all of these companies are not actually saying the transformation that they bring. So we brought all these things into Ricky's new rebrand. We renamed his company and named him Transformative Tiling. Transformative Tiling speaks about the transformation that he's bringing to his customers' lives. We also put a strapline on there, we care about quality. Because we identified that a lot of people have a problem with finding good workmen that actually do care about quality. So we wanted to build that into Ricky's branding as part of his USP. As you can see, the design still links back to tiles with that square, but it's done it in a much more design-led way. And it looks more modern and fresh than any of his competitors. We also use lifestyle photography on his website and in his brochures to really get across the fact that this is going to transform your life in your home, and you're going to be happier, and your children and your animals are going to be living in a much more beautiful space. Again, it's selling the dream. And the muted colour palette also adds a level of sophistication and elegance to the design. The next case study I want to talk about was Ruth. Ruth was an accountant, and she was reinventing her business to become more of a business mentor. So in the standout phase, we looked at business mentor logos. And this is what you see. Lots of blue. That's a business norm, actually. That is a norm in branding that a lot of businesses or business-to-business companies will tend to use blue because it denotes authority and professionalism. Also, though, with mentoring companies, they do tend to use a lot of these little people. So if you look at this, there's a lot of people coming upstairs, or people holding hands, or people giving each other a lift. This, again, can be seen as a bit of a business cliche. So if you want to stand out, avoid the cliches. Ruth's business was RMC, Business Mentoring. Again, the name wasn't really helping her customers understand the transformation that she could bring to their lives. So we renamed the company Flourish Consultants, because that's what she helps people do. And we put her strapline as business wellbeing and mentoring, because she takes a more holistic approach to coaching her clients so that they can build a sustainable business whilst maintaining their sanity and their health. As you can see, the colours here will definitely make her stand out in her industry. And the lettering is so different to anything else that was in her industry. It It hints at growth. It has a slightly feminine flourish to it. She is a lady. But it speaks more about the way that she nurtures people and helps them grow. It feels more organic and friendlier and more approachable as a result. The next two case studies that I'm going to talk about are established businesses. So what if you've got a business that has been going for a long time and people recognise you in the industry and when you turn up on LinkedIn or social media, and so you don't want to change it too much, but you feel that your brand is no longer positioning you. It's not really working for the business that you are now, and your brand isn't positioning you for where you want to go in the future. This is what happened with Antoinette. She came to see me a few years ago and she wanted a brochure. Her book was actually coming out in 6 weeks' time, so she didn't have time for a rebrand or anything. But when I saw her brand collateral, as you can see here, there was a lot going on. There was too many colours, too many typefaces, and it didn't look cohesive. So I said to Antoinette, we have a bigger issue here. You don't need a brochure, you need a rebrand. Now, Antoinette didn't have time for the full shebang at the beginning. So what we did was we adapted her logo, and we had to keep the same format so she could just drop it into her website and she could drop it into her PowerPoint presentations and just change the colours up. But the colours here, you see, were not being applied consistently. As you can see, the book is green, the logo is another set of colours, the training pack is another set of colours, and then there's more colours in the icons on her website. So the first thing we do is create a new colour palette for her that was going to be more professional and include that green because she wanted to keep the book jacket as it was because it had tested well with her target audience. So the new colour palette got rid of the girly pink because Antoinette was targeting the digital arena and IT companies. So it was a slightly more masculine palette with that introducing the blue, but the blue and the purple talk about authority and trust. And then the two green colours talk about nurturing and growth. We kept the purple from her old palette and we kept the grey. So there was an element of continuity. We also kept the format of her logo. But as you can see, it's a lot smarter. We've pulled it all together. It's including the green of her book. And now she looks so much more coordinated. Antoinette herself says that she felt the rebrand enhanced her credibility. She said that my company, it feels, has grown up and is playing at a higher level. My brand is now aligned with who I am and what I am saying. It brings a sophistication and maturity and additional professionalism to everything. First impressions are stronger and clients have complimented me on it. She actually even won a piece of business from one of her clients because the lady said that her competitor had very dated collateral and she didn't want to work with her because the collateral, the brochures seemed so out of date that she felt maybe her training methods were also out of date. So your brand and your branding and your design can really impact on whether people choose to hire you or not. That Antoinette said she felt she's being offered more significant opportunities as a result. She said it's easier to be confident selling a high value package when it looks the part too. The second case study is a company called Coaching Impact and a lady called Sarah Milne, who approached me and asked me again for a new brochure. Again, I asked for the brand guidelines and other collateral so I could see what they'd done in the past. It became apparent that a rebrand was needed or a tightening up of the brand because, as you can see here, it was starting to spiral a little bit out of control after 10 years and several people creating different sets of collateral. So as you can see, again, there are different styles of illustration. There is what I call the boom head. You can see that magazine front there with the word boom. There was this very stylized cartoon. And then to the right, there was another head, but that was sort of hand-drawn and very simple. And then above that, there were newspaper cartoon type illustrations. So 3 different types of illustrations, 3 different book jackets, bottom right there, 3 different styles or positionings of this mirror, which didn't look like a mirror. It looked like a moon or a porthole because it looked like the sky. And the type was in different positions. Also, she had some brochures which had illustrations on the front and others which had the moon on the front or the mirror and others which were plain. Also, her infographics, bottom left, had different colours, different ways of joining them up. Some had icons and some had illustrations in them as well. That cream was really difficult to print as well, so that wasn't consistent. And the logo itself, Coaching Impact, didn't have as much impact as it could. So we tidied it up and made it a little bit smarter and stronger, as you can see here. The logo is stronger, it's more solid blue, it has more impact. The colours have been simplified. We've got rid of that troublesome cream and replaced it with white. We also got rid of the ambiguous mirror and made it a clearer, more clearly a mirror. And we've started to pull the design of the brochures in line with everything else. The illustrations too, we've kept the boom head, as we called it, because Sarah loved that style of illustration, but we created a simpler to draw head in the same style and in the same vein. And the illustrations, of which there were 10, do you remember there was that running man on the cartoon? We created these as well in the boom head style. Suddenly it's all more pulled together. Sarah said, Sapna and her team aligned all our assets so they were clear, meaningful, dynamic and on brand. Our brand now feels more aligned to who we are, where we want to go and how we wish to communicate. It looks cleaner, so much stronger and more impactful. I feel the design now supports our message rather than detracting from it. And that's the key thing. Your design has to support your message rather than detracting or distracting from what you're saying. If you'd like to find out more about how the vision process works, or if you'd like to read more case studies or connect with me, find us on social at InnerVisions ID, on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Our website is www.innervisions-id.com, so you can read more case studies there, or connect with me on LinkedIn at Sapna Pieroux. There's only one of me. Thank you and bye for now.